Hi, everyone. My name is Tammy Gaudette, and today we're just going to be going over the one number since Choral County. What we are demoing, since that's the way we're only able to do it, is we're going to demo how you could do choral counting via digital, but then at the very end, we'll just talk about some ways that you could do it hybrid as well. So if you go to the next slide, Jen. So Jennifer and I are the elementary math people. If you ever have any questions, please feel free to contact us. We're both support specialists, so we are here for you. We've kind of just put this together, but this is something people have been asking. So again, if you have a need, please let us know, and we can make sure to try to help that and also promote it. Whatever that need may be, other people may also need it. All right, in the chat, if you could go ahead and just put in what number sense routines have you tried this year with your students?
And feel free to unmute as well. You don't have to necessarily, we should say you can unmute and tell us too. Number talks. Thanks, Ashley. For kinder, using their fingers, numbers 1 through 10, because yes, manipulatives, huge issue. We're feeling that pain. Skip counting and multiplication mashup on YouTube. Great. Well, if anything, we'll have a lot of different options for you. Today, you'll be getting those. Games. Thanks, Rena. Love that with the hundreds chart. Our activity today involves a hundreds chart, so you'll see that come back again.
Yeah, someone was saying with the fingers. That's one thing I'm working with one of my kiddos right now, is just how to flash. She's first grade, how to flash up fingers all at the same time, and she's struggling with that. So I can really feel making sure that they understand how to use their fingers and work through that. I'm with you there. All right. So
can I ask a question? Because I clicked on the link in the chat, but I don't see this PowerPoint as part of it. So I don't know where I'm not clicking correctly.
Let's see. I know you're going to see my screen, but yeah, there should be, I'm going to copy the link, and that should be the link to the PowerPoint that goes into the chat. I don't see anybody else in here except for Tammy and I, so I'm wondering maybe I
You know why?
Why?
Your link went to the make and take.
Oh, my link went to the make and take? See if that one works.
Okay, thank you.
Since you just saw me do it in person. Thanks, Marie, for that little thumbs up. Now, hopefully, I'll see more people on this side. It happens. You know what? We were talking about risk-taking the other day and our famous failures. I can have a famous failure moment just about every day of my life in remote learning. So thanks for being patient with us. Now I see more people, Tammy. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and flip to the next slide because I can see Tammy already on that. We're on slide 4, by the way. So she's going to introduce how you can do choral counting with a number sense routine inside your classroom.
So this one activity has been split into 4 days. It is not, there are some that we'll do that you can do all of it in one day, but this one is split because there's a lot involved. The first one is just getting the kids to say it, whatever your counting is. If it's multiples of 4, if it's as simple as the one we're going to be doing where it's just counting up to 100 or to 20, depending on where your kids are. And then, of course, counting backwards. Jen and I, we've been we'll keep talking about this because we're learners just like you right now with math recovery, and we're learning how important the counting backwards is. I found out today I should probably hold off on counting backwards with my kid because she doesn't even have her counting forwards. So that's just something we're working on. So it's just counting. What happens is you'll have one person unmute, one of your students unmute. They'll say it with you, but deal is everyone else is to stay unmuted, but you want to see their mouse moving. That means you really want to see them counting as well. I've been in several classrooms where someone's doing something, the kids are all. So that's something we just want to really make sure our kiddos know that we want them to be counting as well. Day 2 is where the meat and potatoes start happening, is what patterns are the kids noticing in the whatever counting you're doing. So we'll explain that in just a second. Day 3 is you'll put a block over several of the numbers, and the kids will have to tell you what number is there, and also rephrase what another student had said. So I could say, well, Jen yesterday said it was this, this, and this. That's the pattern she saw. Day 4 is to identify new patterns. So that is choral counting. Let's actually experience it. Now I'm going to ask for someone to unmute themselves who would be willing to, and let me get there. My computer, there we go, my computer. I am on slide 5, if everyone will join me on slide 5. So here's where we'll have it. I'm gonna just do to 20, just to make our lives a little easier, actually to 19. Well, could I have a volunteer that would be willing to say this going forward, starting at 0? And everyone else, our expectations is that you're also saying it with us.
Am I just counting? Is it that simple? Don't give me anything difficult.
Nope, it's not that difficult. Just count.
Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Thank you very much, Ashley. And as you notice, I kept looking over and I was just seeing if people were counting. So, you know, just one thing, I'm really one of those like, where I actually kind of make sure and I follow up with the kids to make sure that they're doing it. So thank you very much, Ashley. And now I'm a big one now, after learning very much more about math recovery. Would someone else be willing to count it backwards? All right, Yvonne.
Okay. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. I really like how Ashley and Yvonne both actually counted it very slowly, because that's a lot of times the kids will just get that running start and just, and then that's where you'll either leave kids behind or else they start making random mistakes.
And I like how they modeled sort of that confusion a little bit, where she had that confusion going backwards when we were still in the teens and we said 13. And then we had to say that terrible number that doesn't sound like a teen at all, a 12 and an 11. So that's where alone also our kids are having confusion in terms of those non-teen things they're hearing that sound, and they don't hear that word teen when they're saying those numbers too. So thanks for modeling that too, Yvonne.
So for younger kids, what you could start doing is, for this next part, ask them for patterns they see, and in these little word bubbles, you can type it in. If you have older kids, you could actually ask the kids to click on an open bubble and start putting in their patterns. Let's do one together, and then so you guys can see how we can work it with the younger, because there's a lot of stuff on here. So, did anyone notice any patterns? Either put in the chat or unmute.
Every other one is even.
Every other one is even. So I am going to grab my zeros. Now, are you going across or are you going down when you said that, Cynthia? Going across? Okay. So I am going to just quickly resize this. Thank you. Jennifer's typing in for me. So now I can just talk about in my red that we have all of our evens. So I gave one example going across to help us out. What also happens here is you could take it to help with the color. We can either, there we go, is we can either color in the bubble or color in the verbiage, or you can even put the student's initials on there. So if someone says, hey, Cynthia came up with this idea, so that they can actually, it helps with the connections. A lot of stuff we're learning with the brain development is the kids make connections just being able to attach it to a person. So that is one. I would ask for the others if you could go ahead and, if anybody's willing to go ahead and put in another, and any of the open one, any other patterns they notice. And then I'm going to call on a few people to ask for them to explain their pattern.
Yvonne had her at it. What were you going to say?
There's 1, 11, 2, 12, 3, 13. So there's the same digit in each of those numbers, but one of them has a additional 1 digit.
So we have our arrows that we could then bring in. I'll have to fix it and get it to move. It's not being very friendly right now for me. Why is this not working? Here. As you guys can see, I am the best tech wizard in the world. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't always quite work for me. So we can see that 11, 22, 33 is going up. We can see that. And you said how did you describe it? So did someone write it down for us while I was doing the arrow, or?
No, I didn't have a good way of describing it, but basically the 1s and the 10s have one of the same digits. So
Okay.
a 1 and 11, 2, 12.
Oh, thank you.
Ah, okay.
There we go.
One's place has the same digit going down.
Perfect. That's a good one. I saw someone said the first row is single digits. So if we were using one of the arrows, we could grab an arrow and say that these are all single digits. So it would probably be best that we had, this one was filled in under orangey-ish. We'll just say whatever color it is. So then what happens is you would go through this, you would ask the kids and have them describe and take the time to really let the kids mull over the different patterns they notice. That is day 2. Day 3 is, oh, I just noticed something. I wanted to get the zeros. So we had another pattern going down. I just wanted to honor that one, that idea. And that is yellow. So I will make sure that that is yellow. All right. So in this one, day 3, you will take time and make sure that you have just and cover some of the numbers. And what you do is you just ask some volunteer kids to tell you one of the blacked out boxes, what number is it, and rephrase the pattern. So if someone could give me I'm going to do one more. Sorry. If someone could give me one of the numbers and then let us know what rephrase the pattern.
Can I ask a question first?
Sure,
Where did
of course.
you get the black covers from?
So what happens is, hold on. These right here, if you'll notice where it was, go to slide 6.
Go to slide 6.
I had a little black square there. And what I did
Okay.
is I just took one and moved it over. I actually made copies.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, just letting you know, I pre-knew that I was going to do this, so I had it just setting up there on my template. To be honest, if I did this again, I would probably take my black square and I would probably make 10 copies of it so that I could just drag and drop and not have to make copies as I was going. That's one tweak I would make probably right away. All right, anybody up for finding a number and rephrasing the pattern someone noticed?
And I was going to say, is this sort of like our disappearing sequences that we may do? Similar to that, if any of you may have like advantage math training, which I do recognize a few folks on here. So we had Yvonne, we had Ashley, Raina, Marie, Kathy. Who wants to take a stab?
I will.
Okay, thanks, Marie.
So there's number 60 in the left column,
Okay.
and it ends in a 0.
So what ends in a 0?
The number, the second number is always a 0 in the tens column.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And who came up with that idea? I don't even remember. Whose idea was that?
It was mine.
Oh,
Well, there you go.
you're supposed to rephrase someone else's idea. But thank you, Marie. Could someone else rephrase another person's idea? Raina, I can see you really wanting to do one.
I'm trying to unmute. So I'm looking at 33 going down. I see the 1, 2, then the black box, and then 4, 5. So I'm thinking 3 is missing, and it's a double 33.
Okay. And then you would continue with this. If anybody had picked 2, what could they have said about 2?
That it's even?
That it's even, but what else could they have said?
It's a
That
single
you're just
digit.
coming across single digits.
Yeah. So sometimes what I really like is when they get a pattern and they overlap, go ahead and put a black box over one of those so that they could really talk about the 2 patterns, not just one. And so you could say, oh yeah, Jen noticed this pattern. Did anybody else notice the number pattern that 2 was sitting on? So if you go ahead and go to, that is day 3, is just going over, finding the missing numbers, and then rephrasing the pattern. If you're on slide 6, you do the same thing you did on day 2, but you find new patterns. So single digits won't work. Every other number won't work. Going down the tens, going diagonal. Can someone identify one different pattern? We'll just say one for right now. Ooh, I'm pushing you.
I have one. I don't know. I'm thinking of this with my kiddo, but all of the digits, every one of the 10 through 19 has a 1 in the tens place because the teens number start with a 1. That's how we say, is it teen or not a teen? We know it's a teen because it starts with a 1.
Have a 1 where starts with a 1 is what you said, right?
We know it's a teen because it starts with a 1.
And then again, we just color this red so we can recognize What ideas go with another? So then you can continue this, find new patterns. Like I know going down the 10s had all 0. Maybe someone said going down the 9s column all had 9s. Everything ended in a 9. So you just pull, it's really just pulling out those patterns. Really, math is all about patterns. And this is just a technique to recognize some patterns based upon choral counting. So that, again, is just choral counting using, again, an example where you could do it digitally with the kids. So if we're going to slide 7, on slide 7, the question I know is in everyone's mind is how could we adapt what we're already doing or else what we're thinking about doing on how to do this in hybrid? So I have several ideas, but again, I'm also not the hybrid expert either. So I want to throw that out there. Like my first idea is actually I may keep this digital during hybrid because I could have my asynchronous kids, my at-home kids with my kids in front of me, and we're all doing the same routine together. So that is one, it's the easiest way to do it. One way to do this activity. Does anybody else have any ideas of how we might be able to take this activity and make it into usable for hybrid? Any ideas? Yeah, I see a lot of people going, no, I don't know.
I'm thinking about this even in my small groups. I don't have to have necessarily my, my whole group. I could maybe be doing this in a small group activity with just a few kids that I know need to have this additional practice with it.
Yeah, and I can just see like the kids that are with you just back to old school using a hundreds chart that's already up on your board. I know it's difficult now. They've been talking about, what materials to give kids, but I don't know if they're able to have a 100 chart that's paper in front of them or plastic, but that's just another thought. So
I actually like the idea of putting it on a protector sleeve and the kids write on the patterns. I like that idea.
So building off of what Jennifer said about small groups, you could also do it in breakout groups. Like if you had the ones in person could be one group, and then the ones online, you could break into separate groups and have them work on it alone, like coming up with the patterns and all that, and then come back together and decide, oh, did we find the same patterns? Did we find different patterns? Like that kind of thing, maybe.
I actually like that too. You had better thoughts than I do. I also thought about like almost using it as a flipped classroom and having the kids, but again, that's individually. I like the small groups better. Individually trying to find a pattern, and they come already thinking of a pattern. And saying the numbers, if you did the skip counting, you could film yourself saying it, and that's what they watched and did with you before they came up with a pattern.
Good ideas, Tammy.
Huh?
I said those are all good ideas. Everybody's had a lot of very good ideas on there. All right. What about that second question? Can you think of another number sense routine that you guys might be on the lookout for? We're going to tap you for additional trainings that we're going to do with these.
So go ahead and just throw it in the chat for us because I'm really excited. I have a few ideas, so does Jen. But we would rather, if you haven't said, I would like to try to figure out this number routine, maybe you could give us an idea and we can jumpstart and work on it.
Yvonne, I know we've been talking about that in our math recovery, support, counting collections. How do we pull this in? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one to do online, but it's so important.
Yeah. Anything you can think of. I know a few ones that are coming up in the coming ones, so I don't want to give them away, but
yeah, because we're going to use the 10 frames with quick images.
Yeah.
Just heads up, that's coming up.
We also have a number talk that's coming up.
All right. So if you think of anything, please feel free to throw it in the chat. Our last thing is before we give you, actually, Jen already gave it to you.
My
Before I'll let you off and go on that was there anything, what is one thing that you took away? That small nugget that you're like, huh? And it may be something that you take away as is, or you'll tweak it. So in the chat, if you could just put in one small nugget that you're going to take away from today.
using 10 frames. I'm even thinking about the questioning that Tammy was giving us and some of the, kind of trying to get that pattern out, in terms of like the thinking and their discourse and their thinking of how they thought about the problem. Number sense, yeah. Could be adapted for all grade levels, absolutely. Allowing them to take that time to supply, to find those patterns and looking at the hundreds charts, definitely. Having students rephrase. Yes, they listen better to their peers than they do to us.
I think it's the same with adults. All right, well, thank you, everyone. On slide 9 is just the flyer that was sent out to you, or it may look a little different, but it's pretty much the same thing. Every day that we have here, we'll be doing a different routine. So if you're interested and want to know what specific routine, just send us an email and we can let you know what routines we're doing on which day, but they're all number sense routines. There's some we've done in the past. We're going to try to think of some new ones, but right now what we have here has ones that we have done at TLF summits. So if you have seen some of those, just beware. That is probably what's coming around, but we are thinking of more new ones, hopefully.
Tomorrow morning, if you want to spread the word, tomorrow morning we are doing one again at 8 a.m. And anybody can come. I know that somebody asked me, can an EA attend? I know EAs are just as important as our teachers in some classrooms, and they may be leading a small group activity where one of these could be used. Yes, please invite them. It's open to any and all who would like to come and learn.
Student teachers.
Yeah. All right. And so then on slide 10, and I've already given you guys the folder, but if you'd like, you just hover over that little make and take, and there should be a folder pop up, and then that's where you can go in, and inside there is already activities for you pre-made to be able to do. If you've already gone in there, let me go ahead and slide into there because I think I have that whole, let me go back out. Sorry, Tammy, and you're probably like, I should have just gone straight from the thing. I'm going to do the same thing now. I'm going to go straight from there and just go right in there. Because I did have it open, and then apparently we started doing other things. So my brain has gone now. All right, so you'll notice inside there that what we did was we gave you sort of some directions. That's in the form of that choral counting primer. So it kind of gives you some ideas of how you could be using it. Number 2 was their choral counting template. So the template that Tammy actually used, which already had the arrows in there, the little bubbles that you guys could write in there. Everything that you will need in that choral counting template is within that section in there. Then we also had in number 3, it shows your K5 examples with choral counting. So if you went, into there, it had like another slide deck, which kind of gives you some ideas of what it could look like, K through 5 examples. And so it gives you a whole plethora of different examples and how to use it. And then over here, this is a planning document, which is really nice because it helps you anticipate what you might want to be thinking of and what kind of patterns we could identify. Like just some of the patterns that came out of it with the doubles, going all the way down, the 11, the 22, that was something that, you would like to try and pull out the mathematics of it. So thinking about it and being able to anticipate and plan for that, that would be what was on number 4. And then we also just gave you another folder of additional resources. So those counting choral resources, counting choral counting resources, choral counting.
Choral counting.
But there's a plethora, again, of more activities, and all of this was found a lot of the stuff was found. We found it through TED.org, which is a great resource if you guys are looking for that, to be able to find those resources and additional things that you can use. So that's it in a gist. Hopefully I know we went a little over our 30 minutes, but thanks for sticking with us. And really, we'll just stay on in case you have any questions really quick. But I know you guys, there's another benchmark one going right now. So if you wanted to go into that one, you could do that too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.